Hello everyone, you're probably watching this video for one reason, and that's because your engine's running rough. So let me tell you kind of what happened with mine, and hopefully this kind of relates to yours, and then you can apply how I fix mine, and maybe it's a very similar issue. So I was just driving around, probably both times we were like driving around 20-30 minutes, going on the highway, going through the city, and then they both happened the same time. So I have to park my car on the street. Right when I parked it, I put in reverse to parallel park it, put it in drive, back and forth, and then get in the parallel parking position. Right at that idling position, it started running really rough and I was shaking. And you'll see that video in a second. It's running rough. Does not sound good. You can see the whole engine is shaking. So we go ahead and turn it off. And then if we turn it back on, it shouldn't do it again. It'll start rough and then it'll work again. You can see it's like, and then it was fine. Now is the normal way. It's ticking okay. It's definitely not good, whatever it is. This truck currently has 136,000 miles on it, so it is used a little bit, but I definitely don't think that should be happening at all, so it's kind of weird. And then I ran a code and this is what happened. So I ended up throwing an error, and it was an intake camshaft error. You can see it right here, and basically it's just this tiny little sensor that senses it with a little magnet, and it just went bad. There's two of them though. There's one on the right side and one on the left side of the engine. Bank 1 is on the passenger side and bank 2 is on the driver's side. So make sure you get the orientation right if your truck ends up throwing a code. It's pretty simple. I'm going to use this to take apart the battery, take it off to reset the code, and to just make sure everything is completely disconnected when I'm messing with the sensor. And then I'm going to use the 5/16 socket to take it apart. Literally, you unscrew it, take it out, disconnect the clip, pull this out, push in the new one, put the screw back on, and put the clip on. So let's go ahead and locate it on the engine. I'll bring the tools over. Once again, it is on the passenger side. You can see, you come right over, and it's right on the top of the head. It's right here, this one. First thing we're gonna do is take apart the battery, get this off. It's pretty gross actually, probably need to clean it. So ended up taking apart the battery, just make sure it's not touching or anything. Now the whole system is completely turned off, and it'll help reset that error that's in the computer system. So we're gonna go down here. It's right under here. You can see the screw. Pretty easy to take apart. Now it's already loose, so I'm going to use both my hands to get that screw out. So you can see right here, there's the clip. You want to push this tab down right here. Push it down. And then you want to wiggle it out, and now it's all the way loose. You can see now there's the connector. You can see there's the connector and there's the screw. Now here's the screw. You can see it's pretty long, so it took a while to thread it all the way out. Now just wiggle the whole sensor out. Here's the old piece. So here's the old one versus the new one. You can see the old one's completely covered, and then the new one's good to go. So let's go slap this new one back in there. Make sure your orientation's correct. Snapped in there nice and good. It's kind of hard to figure out the orientation down there. Start the thread. Then we want to use the 5/16 ratchet to tighten it a little bit. Don't get it torqued down there super hard, just get it nice and tight. You want to feel it, but you don't want to overstrain it because it's just a sensor. It's not anything too tight, so just make sure it's on there. Feels pretty good. And then we want to get the connector again. And then just remember the orientation, that little tab goes up top. Give it a little tug. Make sure it's all good to go. And then we want to put the battery back on and start it and make sure everything works. Ignition. Wow, she sounds really smooth now. No more shaking or anything. I'm shaking, it's freezing out here. Connector looks good. I'd call that a job well done right here. If you guys have any issues with your engine shaking like that, exactly like what mine was doing, I would definitely take a look at this.